Let's be real as fuck about life, real estate, and entrepreneurship. Hi, I'm Julie Chin. You can call me Jules. The Real as Fuck brand is all about providing tools and resources to help new and struggling agents succeed. I share my personal experience not only as a new real estate agent, but also how I overcame the odds starting out as a single mom with a mountain of debt and a ton of self-doubt. Hey everyone, Julie Chin here, and you're joining me on the Real as Fuck podcast. Today, I have Andrea Stenberg here with us all the way from Ontario, Canada. Andrea is a passionate video marketer, among other things, and we're excited to have her. Be sure to check out her website at thebabyboomerentrepreneur.com. Andrea, thanks so much for being here today and joining me. Could you tell us a bit?
I'm glad to have a chance to talk to you today.
That's awesome. I'm really excited to hear more about you and your company and what you do and share that with our listeners.
All right. Well, I'm, as you said, I'm all about video marketing, and I'm helping coaches, consultants, realtors kind of get over themselves and really start using the power of video, and in particular live video, so that they can stand out from the competition and get seen, generate leads, and, grow their business.
That's excellent. What brought you down that path?
Well, I started my business before, not even just before online video, but even before social media. I was doing traditional offline marketing. And then, social media came around. I actually still remember the first time my best friend from grade 3 invited me to join Facebook. And my first thought was, why can't we just use the phone like normal people? So I was dragged kicking and screaming into this. But I soon quickly saw okay, social media is really great way to grow your business and meet new people. And as I was marketing my business, I was seeing business owners were freaking out by social media. So then I started going, rather than doing the offline, I started, I thought these people need help. And then around 2017, I was really seeing the writing on the wall for video. Video had come a long way. The early days of video, it was hard to even watch video because you had to download software and you had to have a really fast internet. But 2017, it had really started to become simple to watch video, and it had become simpler to make video. So I could see this is where marketing is going. If you want to succeed, you need to do video. So I actually made my business goal that year to the number one goal was to make more videos as a marketing and promotional tool for my business. And you know how many videos I made that year?
How many?
3. And it was exactly the same reason everybody else doesn't want to do video. I didn't know what to say on camera. I didn't like how I looked. The technology intimidated me, particularly the idea of video editing. The software is confusing and hard to work. And so I finally, the next year, I was like, all right, Andrea, you got to do this. So I signed up for a course, I use quotation marks, about how to go live every day for 30 days to get over yourself. And the course wasn't really a course. It was a PDF with 30 topics. And then it was go off and do it yourself. And I was like, that's not what I thought I was looking for. And that's not what I needed. So I had, I did go live every day, got over my fear, but I still had to learn through trial and error, mostly error, how to use video as a business tool, as a tool to get seen, to generate leads, to grow your business. And so I figured it out for myself, but then I realized, you know what? There are so many people like me who they know they need to do video, but they don't know how to do it properly. And because I've been doing online training since I think 2012 was my first online teleseminar, I decided, you know what? I'm going to create the course that I was looking for way back in 2017. And it's not just about the technology, which buttons to push. It's about the strategy of using video. And in fact, if you get the strategy right, it doesn't matter if it's video, if you're doing audio, if you're doing email newsletters, it's the same kind of idea but it's about sharing your message. And so that's kind of the long version of how I got to where I am today, of helping business owners and realtors and coaches use live video to grow their business.
Well, it's certainly interesting, and what a journey you've had. What challenges did you face back in 2012? Just everything's so different.
Yeah, well, one of the things was the technology. Like, I actually had to go out and buy a new computer when I was starting to edit video because my computer wasn't powerful enough. And then trying to learn the software was a struggle. The other thing was just, having the confidence to go on camera.
Right.
I'm not 20. I'm not, one of the little,
I gotcha.
models, so like that was intimidating too. And so, and then also, as I said, just having the strategy, like, it's enough, it's gotten so easy now. You can push a button and go live, but how do you do it so that you actually grow your business, that you generate leads? And, so all these things was just like so intimidating, and it was really challenging to learn. And I wished I'd had a blueprint when I started that could walk me through, but it was a real struggle.
Right. Yeah, I can imagine. And I can obviously totally relate, because that's why my book has been created, was out of my struggle as a new agent, passing that exam and then realizing I had absolutely no clue how to do the job and feeling frustrated. Why isn't there a simple guide for me to follow? There was plenty of coaching. It was quite expensive. Definitely lots and lots of options out there, but I just wanted something that was specific to where I was at as a new agent and simple to follow.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of people feel that way because it's, yeah, like for real estate agents, you have to understand the legislation. There's all the forms, there's all those things, but then there's also the practicalities of how do you get clients? How do you get houses to sell? How do you get people to show the houses to?
Yeah, exactly.
And I think a lot of people do feel like, how do I do this? Where do I go?
Right. Yeah. I just love that both of our businesses are born out of that. So I find that very cool. Why do you think video can be so advantageous to the business owners?
Well, one of the things, like, and particularly for realtors, but I mean, it's the same with coaches and other small business owners. For people outside of the real estate business, people look at realtors and go, you're all the same. You help people buy and sell houses. You're a commodity. And yet you and I both know that's not true, that there are real significant differences in the skill and the ability of realtors. And video is one of the ways to really show people what makes you different, what makes you special. The other thing is, like, for your customers, like for me, my biggest asset is my house. The biggest purchase I've ever made was my house.
Right. Absolutely.
I need to really trust my realtor. This is something that's really important. And video lets your future customers get a chance to see your face, hear your expertise, hear your enthusiasm and your personality, and feel like they know you long before they ever pick up the phone or walk into one of your open houses or walk into your office. They feel like they know you and have a connection with you. And that's half the battle, because if people already feel like they know, like, and trust you, when it comes time to buy or sell a house, who are they going to go? Some stranger that they pull out of, Google search, or the person that they've been following and listening to and feel like they're a friend?
Yeah, excellent point, because real estate is a relational business. So it's all about that connection and connecting through video. I can see that. I think COVID really stepped that up so much, because people did almost have to get comfortable being in front of their screen. Even if you were in a sea of 100 people on Zoom, you were still on a screen.
Yeah, and that's sort of one of the advantages, is lots of people now have done it, but it's still, there is a leap between being in a Zoom meeting one-on-one or even, in a big meeting versus showing up on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn and trying to use it to grow your business.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that in mind, can you give an example or speak upon how video can help someone actually obtain clients?
Well, one of the biggest mistakes I see realtors make is they'll do videos and posting on social media that are all, I have, there's a house at 123 First Street, and this is the house and it's for sale. And it's like, okay, that's nice, but that only speaks to people who are looking for a house right now. And we all know that it's much easier to retain a client than to get a new client. So you need to also speak to people who are not looking to buy a house today, but maybe they will in a year from now or 2 years from now. You don't know. So for example, I know one real estate agent who he had on his Facebook page, every Tuesday afternoon, he went live and talked about something about real estate. It wasn't specifically about houses he had for sale, but it might be, what renovations increase property value, or, sometimes it was even just like seasonal maintenance tips to protect your property. And if I'm not looking for a house, but I see something about what's going to increase my property value, I might pay attention to that. But the interesting thing was, one week he didn't go live at his usual time because, stuff happened and he didn't go live. And he got dozens of messages on Facebook saying, where were you? What happened? Are you okay? I was looking for you. And it's like, that's
awesome.
What you want with your marketing, because these people not only are they just willing to listen to his content, they were anticipating it. They're looking for it. Well, who do you think, when any of those people who sent him a message and said, where were you? When they're ready to buy their next house, are they going to contact him, or are they going to go to somebody else? They're not even going to think of other realtors, because they feel like they have a personal relationship with him because they've been watching him regularly. So it's about the nurturing of your network, even when they're not thinking of buying a house.
Wow, that's pretty powerful.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I remember you said that live video is more valuable, if you will, than pre-recorded. And is that speaking to what you just mentioned? Or is there more to that?
There's a few things about live video. So one of the things is, remember I said early on, when I first started doing video, I had to actually buy a new computer because my computer wasn't powerful enough. Yeah. Video editing takes a lot of computer power. And it also, the software is confusing, and it takes a lot of time. So, but by going live, you completely bypass that whole video editing. You don't have to figure out what software to get. You don't have to learn how to use the software, and you don't need a faster computer. You can go live with your phone and right there. So it's simpler and easier for people who don't want to make video their priority, because you have a business. Video is just something you do to promote your business, but you have a business. You don't need to spend all that time. The other thing about video, so for example, Facebook, their own internal stats show that people will watch a live video for longer than a pre-recorded video that's been uploaded to Facebook. And
I didn't realize that.
Yeah. And the interesting thing is, it's not just while the video is live. Even if people are watching on the replay, they watch live videos longer than a pre-recorded video. And I think there's a few reasons for that. One, live, we know anything can happen. And we know that. So there's kind of a little bit of energy that, what's going to happen? What's this person going to say? Are they going to make a mistake? Are they going to say something outrageous? So there's some of that.
Yes.
The other thing is,
the answer to that.
as a business owner, when you're going live, you've got a little bit more energy. You've got some butterflies in your stomach, because if you make a mistake, You can't just re-record it. You have to keep going. So you've got a little bit more energy when you're going live. And so that makes it more interesting. Another thing that happens with live video versus pre-recorded, I don't know if this happens to you, but I know for me, when I do a pre-recorded video, I often go into fake Andrea voice. I go this broadcaster voice where I'm trying to sound, and it sounds like crap, but it's like, I just do it. But when I do live videos, even if I start off with fake Andrea voice, because I'm really focused on what I'm saying, and I'm like replying to comments, I'm doing things, I start being real Andrea. And that's what people connect to. People don't want fake Andrea. They want real Andrea. And so I think that's one of the reasons why live video performs better as well, is just you are yourself on video. Even if you start off stiff and formal, eventually you're so focused on just finishing the next sentence and making sure you're saying things correctly that you forget about being all perfect and professional and whatever that version of it looks like for you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny. I think, as you know, I have just launched this business. And so today is my second podcast, and all of it is so foreign to me. And so I totally know what you're talking about. And I'll do take after take after take. However, with the podcast, I'm going to screw up. I'm going to fumble over my words. Maybe my dog's going to start barking. Who knows? I'm just going to kind of go with it. A great one the other day while I was trying to tape a pre-recorded, my headset fell off. I wish I would have kept that, but I was in the mode of, oh my gosh, I've got to get it perfect. And I was just driving myself absolutely crazy. Writing a book was easier.
Well, and think about the last time you watched a live television broadcast, whether it was a sporting event or like the Oscars or the nightly news. These are people who went to school to learn how to be broadcasters. And that's what they're paid to do. They don't have another business on the side. It's like they're presenting on camera. And they're not perfect. They'll mispronounce a word. They'll make a mistake. They'll stumble over a word, and they keep going. And we don't mind because we know it's live and we don't expect perfection. So, if you're not a professional broadcaster, you're a realtor, you're a coach, you're a business consultant who happens to do video as marketing, why would you expect yourself to be better than professional broadcasters? So, be kind to yourself, and don't, try to expect to be better than, who's the best news anchor or the best sporting announcer or whatever, just be kind.
Oh, I feel so empowered. Look out, everyone who knows me on Facebook. Video time. And I've really always thought of myself as a behind the camera person. So this is really out of my comfort zone. But my message that I am so passionate about for new agents is worth it to me to step out of my comfort zone and reach out to people. And that goes right in line with being a new real estate agent, because there isn't anything about it that is comfortable. So it's literally every single day and just pushing yourself through that. I'm really hopeful that we reach a lot of new agents and get them into video land. I can see how advantageous it would be and how quickly they could reach their sphere or people they don't even know. It could be friends of friends, right? So definitely in my 4.5 years as an agent so far, it never entered my mind that I would want to do that. And I think an agent can get up and running even faster by using this method of connection, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. The one thing, though, I would like to caution is I will see a lot of entrepreneurs who are maybe introverts, and they think, oh, good, I'll do a video. And so that means I never have to speak to a person.
Yes,
And
that
it's like,
would be me.
but if you're doing your social media and your video marketing correctly, you'll actually end up speaking to more people, but you'll be speaking to
Mm,
people that you might not have met if you had to, go walk the streets and knock
right.
on doors and wait for people to come to you. And the nice thing is with video, though, is when you do have those conversations, they're not completely cold. These people feel like they know you, even if they've never met you before, because they've seen you on camera, heard your voice. They feel like they know you. So it's a more comfortable conversation when you start having them. But you have to realize the whole goal, particularly for realtors, is a video, is you want to get people to actually talk to you. And whether that's on the phone, whether that's in person, whether it's through the DMs, you need to be having conversations with people, but video opens the door for those conversations.
It takes all the pressure off of them, really.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind
Yeah.
of, it's a nice, gentle introduction to you.
Yeah, I like that. So would you then recommend sending a quick little video intro via text?
Depending on how you're doing, there are some tools that are really simple to use. So, for example, if you're connecting with somebody on LinkedIn or Facebook and somebody sends you a message, depending on what it is, sometimes it's faster and easier to reply with a video or even an audio if it's something more complicated. But it's also a little bit more personal because everybody, we've all heard about AI and automation and things. And if you send a video and say, "Hey, Jules, I just saw your message and I just wanted to let you know ABC," that's really from me, versus if it's just text, you don't know
A
if it's
bot.
coming from my assistant or if
Mm.
if it's a bot. But if there's a video where you mention the person's name and you answer their question directly or give them the information, then they're like, "Oh, wow, that was really her. That's a real person. She really cares about what I need and what I'm looking for."
Yeah, I almost would challenge our listeners to reach out to 5 people this week with a little video and see how the connection grows and what your response rate is hearing back. I'm going to do that myself, and I will let you know how it works out for me.
That sounds great.
So if you don't mind indulging me for a few, you have a few things that you say in your podcasts and in your videos that I really just love. I'm definitely a fan. And I'd love to share with our listeners. One is, if you want people to know, like, and trust you enough to actually buy from you, then you need to show up. What would this mean for our new and struggling agents?
Well, as I said, a lot of people outside the industry feel like realtors are all the same, that all you do is buy and sell houses and there's no difference. But when you show up and let people see your face, hear your voice, hear your enthusiasm, and share what makes you special. So, for example, I'm currently looking for a unicorn house. We're looking for a house
Right.
that my aging parents can move in with us, but still have their own space and not have to do stairs. We would have our space and a space for my adult child. And there's a whole bunch of other bells and whistles we need. And it's basically, I don't even know if such a house exists, but we're looking for that. The real estate agent who works with us needs to recognize that they're not going to make the sale today and maybe next week and maybe not for a year or two. But when they do, they're actually going to make 3 sales because they're going to sell our house, my parents' house, and then the house that we buy. So, so a real estate agent who fits that bill as well, they need to articulate, because we all know there are some real estate agents where if they can't make a sale in a week, they don't want to work with you. So as a new agent, you need to articulate what's the thing that makes you special. Do you specialize in helping first-time home buyers understand the process? Can you let them see that? Do you help seniors downsize? And there's some special issues with that. And, showing how much you care and, that you're willing to go the extra distance. That's what video can help you do. And then particularly, if you're new, maybe going live on your personal Facebook so that all your friends and family who maybe don't even know that you've started a real estate business can go, oh, I didn't know you were a real estate agent. Let me help you. Let me introduce you to my neighbor who wants to sell a house. So it lets people see that you're starting a business, and it lets people see that you care and what it is that you're going to do that's different.
That's excellent. I can't tell you how many posts I've seen, including my own, when I got my license and I did it in text, in words on Facebook. The level of pizzazz, or I'm not even sure what word that's escaping me right now, the difference in putting that message out in video versus just those plain letters, that's
Yeah, because there are people who can write, think about your favorite novelist, or your favorite movie. Somebody wrote that script, but that's a really specific skill, and it's really hard. And if you don't have the skill as a copywriter, it's really hard to convey the emotion, the feeling, the energy, your personality. But on video, like, people see your face, they hear what you have to say, and it allows people to have that connection that is so much harder to do with words only.
Absolutely. And conveying that not only where you're going to specialize, if it's relocating, military, downsizing, all these things that you had mentioned, conveying that it's a long game. I can't tell you how many times I tell clients, they're apologizing that I drove an hour, 2 hours to a property. And I'm thinking, well, I don't think I tell them, why are you apologizing? This is my job. If it takes you 2 or 3 years to find a property, it takes you 2 or 3 years to find a property. I'm on the journey with you, and that's okay. I'm not chasing a paycheck. And letting someone feel comfortable that they're not wasting your time. You get that a lot in the industry. And I remember years and years ago, before I was working, we took a realtor around to 52 homes because my mother-in-law wanted a very specific home, and we were moving them in with us. So it's just part of the job. And if you can make your client feel comfortable because you've taken that pressure off them, it can definitely go a long way. Another thing that you say is and I just love it, don't wait for everything to be perfect. Just start making the video. And then in another post, you say, post the frickin' video already. So here we are, all my mistakes and word fumbling and everything else. And I'm not editing it out, and it is what it is, and maybe it'll even be funny at some point. But what do you feel the biggest challenge for people with following through on making the video? Do you really think it's just that fear of, looking dumb or being in front of the camera opposed to being behind?
Yeah, well, there's a few things. First of all, it's like what do I say? That's a big one. In my program, when I work with people, I give people a framework for figuring out the different types of videos that you make, so that they're not all, this is the one house I have for sale, and it's like buy it or don't buy it. Like, what are some of the other things that build the know, like, and trust? That's a big one, not knowing what to say. Another big one is the sort of the fear of the technology, of not knowing how it all works. But really, like, if you have a smartphone, you could start today. I bought an HD camera about 10 years ago. It's not as powerful as the camera on this phone.
That's incredible.
It doesn't do 4K. It doesn't do vertical. So unless you haven't upgraded your phone in the last 10 years, you have a really powerful camera on your phone. So you can get started today. But the other thing is, I think when people get hung up on video, they're worried about themselves and like looking bad, sounding bad. But flip it around and say, all right, there's somebody out there that either needs to sell their house or they need to buy a house and they don't know where to turn, and you're the solution to their problem. And how can you help them get to being a homeowner or getting to sell this white elephant house that they've got that
right.
Whatever the problem is, think about, if they need you and they can't find you, they can't solve the problem. So rather than focusing on yourself, focus on your client and being the solution to them. And as soon as you do that, it becomes a lot less scary to be on camera. It's, because it's when you're thinking about yourself that you become all self-conscious and am I worried? But when you're thinking about, okay, there's that person out there who doesn't know how to buy a house. They've never bought a house before. They desperately want one, but they don't know. They're even afraid to talk to a realtor because it's so intimidating. And if you can make it sound simple, if you can make it, make it understandable, make it sound like it's something they could actually potentially do, and you focus on that, it becomes so much easier to make the videos.
Yeah, I mean, that makes absolutely perfect sense. And it's just starting. What could someone do to make a better live video?
Well, one of the first things is to plan what you want to say. And you don't necessarily have to write out a whole script, but if you plan what you want to say. And one of the simplest structures for early videos is say, all right, in today's video, I'm going to teach you 3 ways to do X. And then you jot down what are the 3 ways, and then you have your conclusion. So you start off so if you've planned out what each of your 3 points are, and do you have a statistic or do you have a story that illustrates each of those 3 points, jot those down. And then when you go live, because the hardest part is thinking on your feet while you're live. But if you've got the plan, then it's really easy. You can, write it on a piece of paper. Sometimes I will tape it, my little 3 steps underneath my camera so that I don't have to be looking around. I can actually look like I'm looking, but I have them there. And then you say your 3 things and then you summarize it. Do you have a call to action? The call to action is the thing at the end of the video where you want people to do something. So is it like this video? If you found this helpful, like it. If you know somebody who should know this, share it with them. Or it could be, ask a question at the end of your video and ask people to comment. Or it could be, if you're looking to buy a house, say put house in the comments, and I'll send you a message with how we can take the next step. So different ways of doing that, but it's just really simple. Plan it out, plan your intro, plan the 3 points, and plan what your call to action is. Only have 1, but plan for each video. And if you've got the plan, you're going to feel so much more confident when you go on camera, because you're not trying to think up what's the next thing to say while you're live, because you've already got it jotted down.
Yeah, that's super helpful. And it's a way of building leads in someone's sphere organically and more genuinely, if you will.
Yeah, and not every call to action, not every video is going to have the call to action be, pick up the phone and call me, or go to my website, or go whatever. Sometimes it is as simple as just like this video, because when you get people not only watch the video, but somehow interact with it, whether it's like or comment or share. So for example, you've gone live on Facebook, those interactions on your Facebook video tells the Facebook algorithm, this video is interesting to people. Let's show it to more people. And that's part of the organic marketing, is you want to be seen by the people who are following you, but you also want it to be shown to more people and discovered. So as you get better at your videos and better at encouraging people to interact with you, then you gradually start being shown to more people.
That is very sound advice. I really appreciate you being here today and sharing so much knowledge. I actually really, really wish I had found you when I had started. So thank you for sharing so much with our listeners. And can you let everyone know how to find you?
Well, if you're looking on any of the social media, Andrea Stenberg. My website is The Baby Boomer Entrepreneur, and I actually have a free live video checklist that I actually created for me, because I actually one time went live and I had a big piece of spinach between my teeth and I didn't notice it till afterwards. Or, I've had times where I've gone live and I forgot to turn off my phone.
You just made me check my teeth.
Yeah, so there's simple things like remembering to brush your teeth before you go live, to remembering to put your phone on silent, to checking the lighting, all those things. I made it for myself, and then I thought, well, that would be selfish to just keep it to myself. So I have that available on my website if people want that. I actually have it printed out, and I'll kind of go through it before I go live to make sure I don't, my biggest one is forgetting to turn my phone on silent, because there's nothing worse than you're going live and then the phone starts ringing. But it's something that's nice and simple and gives you a little bit of confidence that you haven't forgotten something important before you go live.
That is a great idea. I think I will go on your site and print it for myself. And I'm glad there's no spinach in my teeth. Well, thank you so much for your time, and we'll be sure to put a link to your website on our Facebook page, and we'll have the podcast on Spotify as well as on our website. Thank you so much for being here today with us.
Thanks for inviting me.
Make sure you subscribe to our Spotify channel so you get updated every time we drop a new podcast. And check out our website at realafprogram.com.